right this way. I can see General Hammond now. Excuse me, sir, but we seem to have a visitor.
Thank you, Dr. Fraser. I understand you're here to investigate rumors regarding some of the people under my command.
Rumors, sir? Investigate what?
Yes, Doctor. It seems that someone in Washington doesn't think we run a very tight ship here.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry. It's just another fire drill so that the brass in D.C. can feel better about themselves. Doctor, if you wouldn't mind patching them into the system.
Yes, sir. Okay, look. I realize you're on official business here, but for the record, the personnel at this command are top-notch. And by the way, Fraser's spelled with an S, not a Z.
We did an episode in season 1 called Solitudes, and really the goal was to save a little money, because I had a reputation on The Outer Limits of being able to write 2 people in a room and try to make it interesting. And so I thought, okay, but room, where am I going to put Carter and O'Neill, for example? So I put them in a glacier, a crevasse of a glacier. Something goes horribly wrong with the Stargate, and they are spat out in a glacier.
What's the bad news? Because unless they've redecorated the gate room, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Daniel must have misdialed.
And then John Smith says, let's refrigerate the stage. I said, can we do that? And he said, sure, we'll bring in big industrial things. So we were able to bring in real snow and real ice, and when they're chipping it away, that's what it is. And when Richard Dean Anderson, as Jack O'Neill, is laying on his back, freezing to death, he's actually freezing his ass off because he really was in sub-zero temperatures down there. I love that. Sometimes in a television show you go, that was cool. And that was one of those times.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna die on some godforsaken block of ice a million light years from home. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now help me up.
I don't think you should move.
Probably not. But my butt's freezing to the ground. Come on.
And I had to do this thing where I climbed up this wall of ice to try to get out of this crevasse that we're in. And I kept falling, and they kept the cameras rolling, which I thought was really cruel. And I just, I had to climb up and pull myself, and I kept sliding down this ice wall. And I will never forget that. I'll never forget being that cold and that bruised and that scared and that exhilarated by it all.
Michael Shanks had his appendix blow one day before starting shooting on Nemesis.
You're so used to, on a television show, that you have to be there as an actor. It's like if you're sick, it doesn't necessarily matter because you're in front of the camera. You have to be there.
So I did one of the quickest panic rewrites I'd ever done.
So I was in the hospital, white-faced and in complete denial because they don't know you have an appendicitis until they actually cut you open and take a look. So it could be anything up to that point. So I'm negotiating with a doctor, 10 minutes before I'm going into surgery, that maybe it's not. Maybe I just have indigestion or gas or something from Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe I just need to go home and I'll call you tomorrow. And the doctor's trying to convince me in the nicest possible, okay, young man, the nicest possible way that actually, if you go home, you'll probably be dead by tomorrow morning.
Brad, it's okay. okay, I have an idea. And he goes into this elaborate, he's come up with this, wonderful, wonderfully elaborate storyline for how we're going to get Michael out of the show.
Watching the scramble that I couldn't be part of, which was how do we write him out of the episode as fast as possible and keep him in it.
And I just sat there. Maybe it was the end of the season and we were all just tired. And I said, well, why don't we just say his appendix blew?
Can I see your scar?
No.
Fraser says it'll be about a week before you get out of here.
It was one of the things that sort of always bugs me is why don't sort of the daily aspects of life ever bleed into? I mean, these guys go through the Stargate every day. They fight incredible fights and have all these things happen, but sort of the real life never affects them.
Want to go fishing?
Actually, I wouldn't, well, maybe. No, I think maybe I will stay here for 2 or 3 days.
And Richard and I mostly improvised those little exchanges, which was a lot of fun.
Did you get your hair cut?
Yeah. Why?
No reason.
And then we played it out for the entire two-parter. In the next part, in Small Victories, he's also unable to sort of do what he has to and still recovering.
You were fine. There's no signs of residual infection. You were very lucky.
That's what you keep saying.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite episodes is Serpent's Lair, which is the second episode I did, is when they're rescued off the mothership. And that's my favorite episode because I got locked in a glider with Rick.
Human, put this on.
Will you please stop calling me human?
And I found that really sort of interesting because I'm just a hair claustrophobic. I'm not really claustrophobic. It's not, but when you're in a glider and you're about 12 feet up and they put this plastic glass sort of cage over you and all of a sudden they come with the ratchet gun, and you're thinking, I don't know,
Ray-Tac? Ray-Tac! You okay?
Not bad. For an old man.
You realize they say 20 minutes, and it's an hour and 15 minutes later, and you're still sort of up there. And meanwhile, they're throwing pebbles at you, and there are wind machines, and so you have to entertain yourself. So that was a good chance to get to know Rick, and we really had a lot of fun that day.
Take a look up.